I want you to think about the last relationship that didn't work out the way you wanted. Maybe it ended, maybe it faded, maybe it became something neither of you fully recognized anymore. Now I want you to ask yourself one honest question. How much of what happened was driven by something you believed about women that was never actually true? Not a bad decision, not bad luck, a belief. Absorbed without examination, acted on without question, quietly shaping every interaction, every response, every choice, until the damage was done. A 2021 study from the Journal of Social and Personal Relationships found that men's inaccurate beliefs about women's communication and emotional needs were among the top 3 predictors of relationship dissatisfaction, ranking above financial stress and sexual incompatibility. Beliefs, not behavior. Beliefs. The most dangerous thing a man carries into a relationship is not his past, it is an unexamined belief about the woman in front of him. Today, we are going to examine 5 of the most common ones, and by the end of this video, you will not be the same man who pressed play. Before we name the lies, we need to understand where they came from. Because here is the thing about the beliefs that cause the most damage. You did not choose them, you absorbed them. From films that taught you what romance was supposed to look like. From friends who were just as confused as you were. From pornography, which research from the American Psychological Association consistently shows creates fundamentally inaccurate models of female desire, female communication, and female response. From early experiences with women, often during adolescence, that your developing brain encoded as templates for how women work. Psychologist Albert Bandura's social learning theory tells us that the beliefs we form about social behavior, including relationships and gender, are primarily absorbed through observation during formative years, not through deliberate instruction. In other words, nobody sat you down and taught you these things. You watched, you absorbed, you filed it away, and then you acted on it for years without ever questioning whether what you absorbed was accurate. This is not your fault, but continuing to act on unexamined beliefs after you have had the opportunity to examine them, that is a choice. Here are 5 beliefs worth examining today. Lie number 1. Women want the dominant, unreadable man. You know this archetype. He says little, he reveals nothing. He keeps her guessing. He is the man who does not need her. And that needlessness, the story goes, is precisely what makes him irresistible. This belief has been packaged and sold to men for decades, in dating advice, in films, in the language of pickup culture. And it contains just enough truth to make it genuinely dangerous. Because confidence is attractive. That part is true. Self-assurance is attractive. That part is also true. But emotional unavailability, performed detachment, strategic mystery, these are not confidence. They are the costume confidence wears when it is not actually present. A landmark study by researchers at the University of Texas found that while initial attraction was slightly higher toward men who displayed dominant social behavior, sustained attraction and relationship satisfaction were both significantly higher, with men who displayed warmth, openness, and emotional accessibility. In other words, the unreadable man gets the first date. He rarely keeps the relationship. Because here is what women are actually responding to beneath the surface of that initial attraction. Not mystery, safety. The felt sense that this man is stable, consistent, and secure in himself, not because he performs indifference, but because he is genuinely comfortable being known. Psychologist John Bowlby's attachment research, which has been replicated across more than 6 decades of study, shows that the most powerfully attractive quality a partner can display is what he called secure base behavior, the consistent, reliable, emotionally available presence that signals, I am here, you can count on me, I am not going anywhere. That is not the unreadable man. That is the opposite of the unreadable man. The mystery archetype produces short-term intrigue, it produces long-term resentment,
anxious attachment, and eventually, exhaustion. Women do not leave men for being too available.
They leave men for being unavailable when it mattered most. Lie number 2. Physical appearance is the primary driver of attraction for women. This one is particularly insidious because it is true for men.
Research consistently shows that visual attraction is the primary initial driver of romantic interest in heterosexual men. And men, quite naturally, project this onto women. If it works that way for me, it must work that way for her. It does not. A comprehensive meta-analysis of 97 studies on mate preference, published in Psychological Bulletin, found that while women do value physical attractiveness in partners, it ranked 4th overall in importance, behind intelligence, kindness, and emotional stability. 4th.
Behind intelligence, kindness, and emotional stability. Let that land for a moment. A separate study by researchers at Northwestern University, one of the most rigorous speed dating studies ever conducted, with over 10,000 participants, found that for men, a woman's physical attractiveness was the single strongest predictor of romantic interest.
For women, physical attractiveness was one of several factors, and in longer interactions, emotional responsiveness and confidence consistently outweighed physical appearance. What this means in practice is critically important. The man who spends 3 hours a day in the gym and 0 hours developing his emotional intelligence is optimizing for the metric that matters least to the women he most wants to attract. And the man who is unremarkable physically but deeply present, emotionally secure, and genuinely interested in the woman in front of him is consistently chosen over the man who looks better but is internally absent. This is not a consolation prize. This is the actual operating system of female attraction, supported by decades of research, and almost no one teaches it to men.
Lie number 3. If she wanted something, she would say so. This belief sounds reasonable on the surface. Adults communicate directly. If something is needed, it gets requested. Simple. And it would be true if human communication operated the way men assume it does.
It does not. Research from linguistics professor Deborah Tannen, whose work on gender differences in communication has been cited over 14,000 times, shows that men and women use language with fundamentally different primary functions. Men use language predominantly to communicate information and establish status. Women use language to build connection, signal emotional state, and maintain relational harmony, often simultaneously. What this means in practice: when a woman says, "It's fine," it is frequently not fine. When a woman says, "You don't have to if you don't want to," she often very much wants you to. When a woman goes quiet, she is often communicating something the silence itself is meant to convey. A study published in the Journal of Nonverbal Behavior found that women communicate emotional needs and relational dissatisfaction through nonverbal channels. Tone, body language, withdrawal, and silence, far more frequently than through direct verbal statement. The researchers noted that this is not evasion or game playing. It is a deeply ingrained communication pattern, often rooted in the culturally learned belief that direct emotional requests make a woman appear demanding or difficult. So she signals, and the man who is waiting for her to say it directly never receives the signal. He experiences her as confusing, unpredictable, difficult to read. She experiences him as absent, inattentive, not interested enough to notice. Both are experiencing the same gap from opposite sides, and the gap has a name. He is listening for words. She is speaking in something else entirely. Lie number 4. Great relationships happen naturally. If you have to work at it, something is wrong. This may be the single most destructive belief on this list, because it does not announce itself as a lie. It announces itself as a standard, a way of knowing when you have found the right person, because with the right person, everything flows. And the moment it stops flowing, the moment effort is required, the belief whispers, maybe she is not the right one. Research by Dr. Carol Dweck, Stanford University psychologist and developer of the growth mindset framework,
has been applying to romantic relationships with significant findings.
Her work, extended by colleagues including Dr. Spike Lee and Dr. Norbert Schwartz, found that people who hold destiny beliefs about relationships, the belief that compatible partners are simply meant to be and that effort signals incompatibility, report significantly lower relationship satisfaction over time.
Specifically, they are more likely to abandon relationships at the first serious difficulty rather than developing the skills to navigate it. By contrast, people who hold growth beliefs, the understanding that good relationships are built through deliberate investment, report higher satisfaction, better conflict resolution, and greater sustained attraction.
The data is unambiguous. The relationships that feel most effortless after 10 years are the ones where both people worked the hardest in years 1 through 5. Ease is not the alternative to effort. Ease is what effort produces over time.
John Gottman's research adds the critical practical dimension here. His longitudinal studies found that couples who maintained what he called positive sentiment override, a reservoir of goodwill built through consistent small investments, were able to weather conflict that destroyed relationships built on the natural flow assumption.
The ratio he identified, 5 positive interactions for every 1 negative one. Not because of luck, not because of compatibility, because of deliberate, consistent, daily investment. The relationship that feels natural is the relationship someone worked to make feel that way. Lie number 5, and in many ways, the most important one on this list. Wanting to improve as a partner means something is wrong with you. This belief operates as a defense mechanism. If growth is an admission of failure, then refusing to grow protects the ego
from the discomfort of facing its own limitations. It sounds like confidence. It functions like fear. A 2019 study published in the Journal of Experimental Social Psychology found that men who held fixed beliefs about their relationship abilities, the sense that you either have what it takes or you don't, were significantly more likely to respond to relationship difficulties with withdrawal, defensiveness, and blame attribution. Men who held growth-oriented beliefs about relationship skills, the understanding that these abilities develop through practice, attention, and learning, were more likely to respond to the same difficulties with curiosity, communication, and problem solving. Same difficulty, same relationship, completely different response. The fixed belief man reads this video as an accusation. The growth belief man reads this video as information. And here is the research finding that should settle this for every man watching.
A landmark study from the Kinsey Institute found that the men rated highest in relationship and intimate satisfaction by their long-term partners were not the men with the most natural ability, the most confidence, or the most experience. They were the men most willing to learn, most willing to ask, most willing to adjust based on what they discovered. Willingness to grow is not a confession of inadequacy. It is the single most reliable predictor of becoming the partner women describe as exceptional.
The man who says, "I already know what I'm doing," has closed a door. The man who says, "I want to understand better," has opened one. Only one of those men ends up on the right side of it.
Now here is what I want you to do. Not next week, not when you feel ready. Today. Take the 5 lies we just covered. Write them down. Lie 1. Women want the dominant, unreadable man.
Lie 2. Physical appearance is the primary driver of attraction. Lie 3. If she wanted something, she would say so. Lie 4. Great relationships happen naturally. Lie 5. Wanting to improve means something is wrong.
And next to each one, be honest. Score yourself from 1 to 10 on how much you have operated from this belief, not how much you consciously agree with it, how much you have acted from it.
Because there is a significant difference between beliefs we would endorse consciously and beliefs that have been driving our behavior without our awareness. The ones doing the damage are rarely the ones we would admit to holding. They are the ones operating below the level of examination.
Pick the one that scored highest. Write down one specific way it has shown up in your relationships, one interaction, one response, one pattern that you can trace directly to this belief. You do not need to solve it today.
You need to see it clearly.
That is the entire first step. And that first step, seeing clearly, is more valuable than any technique, any strategy, any advice this channel will ever offer you. Because you cannot navigate terrain you refuse to look at.
5 lies, 5 beliefs you never chose but have been paying for. You know which one is yours. You felt it somewhere in this video. That feeling is not guilt. It is the beginning of something.
Most men will close this video and go back to the same patterns. You don't have to. One examined belief. That is all it takes to start becoming a different man. You can't fix what you refuse to examine. Start examining. This is the Better Man Project. We'll see you in the next one.